US Congress is deliberating seriously, heavily on Nigerian Christian genocide. And not just that, Nnamdi Kanu's release. In fact, they are now beginning to speak up. A lot of senators are now beginning to rise up on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu, warning the Nigerian government to either review the sentence of Nnamdi Kanu or release him unconditionally. And not just that, they are threatening that they are coming into a fight to protect the Christians in Nigeria. In fact, a lot of things have been said here, and this is not what Tinubu was expecting. They accused Nigerian authority for allowing extremists like Boko Haram for operating freely without meaningful response from Nigerian authority. But Nnamdi Kanu was convicted for speaking out about what is happening in Nigeria. In fact, I would like you to listen to hear it by yourself. Just watch.
Nigeria is the deadliest place on earth to be a Christian today. Since 2019, tens of thousands of Christians in Nigeria have been slaughtered as part of a sustained pattern of religiously motivated violence by Islamist jihadis ignored or enabled by the Nigerian government. Extremist groups like Boko Haram are allowed to operate without any meaningful response from authorities. A courageous leader named Nnamdi Kanu was convicted in a farce show trial for speaking out about what's happening. He's currently serving a life sentence in prison, convicted on false terrorism charges. I implore my colleagues to support my bill, HRES 1321, calling on the Nigerian government to conduct another trial in accordance with its own constitution based on evidence, with access to legal counsel, medical care, and international law pertaining to humane conditions of detention, or, better yet, release Nnamdi Kanu immediately and unconditionally. America gives billions to Nigeria. We will not continue to fund a Christian genocide. We have the moral obligation to stand up so our Christian brothers and sisters can worship the Lord our God in peace. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Secretary Waltz, thank you for your leadership on Nigeria. You are one of the few people I know who was deployed there to try to help protect those who are being slaughtered, including the Christians. Yes, Muslims get killed too, if they speak out. Christians get targeted because of the infidels, and the radical Islamic belief is you deserve to die. And whether it be Boko Haram, ISIS West Africa, or the Fulani, we need to do more, and you have taken the lead on that, and you might want to speak to that if you would, because I think Nigeria is one of those cases where if the government gets serious, and I mean really serious, they can come off the CPC designation, but do so by murdering it. I yield.
Well, thank you, Representative Smith, and thank you for your long history of taking these issues on and actually getting out there on the ground to see them firsthand rather than opining from D.C. And I will say, I have to give credit where credit's due. Secretary Guterres has taken on the issue in a meaningful way of not just peacekeepers, but it's often local vendors being paid by the UN who are conducting this type of abuse. On Nigeria, yes, we are taking the persecution of Christians very seriously. I have to say, I did not have Nicki Minaj on my dance card, but to have her with her global following at the UN to put a spotlight on this issue was a real honor, and I think it's one of the things the UN can do well in terms of having that global platform and having the entire world right there in New York. And we've seen the Nigerian government move as a response to the president's attention, our attention, her attention, and others on the issue. They're cooperating with us more than they were on counterterrorism. They're cooperating in terms of their security force capacity. They still have some work to do, frankly, in terms of the Sharia law that is in place in many of these local provinces. And make no mistake, churches are being burned, pastors are being executed, people are being arrested literally for just wearing a cross around their neck. And the Christian religion is the most persecuted religion in the world right now, and this administration and I as its representative at the UN are taking it incredibly seriously in every action that we can.
Tinubu did not see this coming. They did not see this coming. They don't know that the world is watching, that the whole world is watching what is happening in Nigeria. It took them by surprise. The whole world knew that Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced unjustly for speaking up. Just for speaking up and be exposing what has been happening in Nigeria, the evil that has been happening in the country. That is the reason why they sentenced him to life imprisonment. And they thought that the world is not watching. They could not believe that a day like this will come when the whole world will be speaking up for Nnamdi Kanu. And the major part of it is that they are threatening, warning Tinubu to review Nnamdi Kanu's case or give him a fair trial, or they should release him. You can see how they analyzed how Nigerian government is allowing extremists to operate freely, unaliving innocent citizens, causing mayhem in the country, and the authority is not doing anything enough to stop them. But they sentenced a man that was speaking up against the evil happening in Nigeria. They could not believe that the whole world is watching what has been happening in this country. It took them by surprise. They could not believe that a day will come when everything will be exposed. The whole world is watching. If you go to Southeast, the only problem they have, the only insecurity threatening Southeast is the military invasion. They will be invading communities in search of IPOB members, arresting our youth, unaliving our youth. But Boko Haram will be working freely, operating freely in the north, invading villages, unaliving people, displacing communities. At the end of the day, federal government will grant them pardon. They will arrest them, rehabilitate them, and recruit them into Nigerian army. They will continue to cause mayhem. They will continue to carry out their jihad on the innocent Nigerians. Just imagine the level of evil that is happening in Nigeria. Nigerian authority doesn't have power over Boko Harams, over terrorists in Nigeria. But when it comes to Southeast, you will see Nigerian military, Nigerian security personnel moving into our villages, searching innocent youths to arrest, burning houses, just because they are Igbos, just because they want justice. They want a country where justice prevails, a country where equity and fairness is being used to govern them. That is why they hate Igbos. They hate us because we hate injustice in our country. Imagine the level of insecurity that is happening in the north. Nigerian government will arrest Boko Haram, people that have unalived millions of Nigerians. You will still pardon them, rehabilitate them, and pay them off, and tell them that the innocent lives they have wasted, you have forgiven them. You will integrate them back into society, recruit them into our military, and they will go back to their arms, terrorizing Nigerians, terrorizing the innocent citizens. But when they see an innocent Igbo youth, they will label them IPOB and begin to arrest them, moving into their communities, burning houses, terrorizing them. The highest insecurity we have in Southeast is Nigerian military, terrorizing Igbo land. When you send them to North to arrest Boko Harams, if they arrest them, they will rehabilitate them and send them back to the society. They will continue to cause mayhem. Look at Sheikh Gumi. He's working freely. Sunday Igboho is now carrying arms, recruiting his members. But Nnamdi Kanu is in prison. The same people that are committing the same offense. But because Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man, that is why Tinubu sentenced him to life imprisonment. But thank God, the whole world is now speaking up against the injustice. They did not believe that a day like this will come, when everything will be exposed. You see, some evil people will be operating, committing a lot of atrocities against their fellow man. They think that the world is not watching. Everybody is watching what is happening in Nigeria. There is nothing one does in this life Kama will not visit him one day. The blood of innocent Igbo men, innocent Igbo people they have wasted, we judge them. All of them will receive their rewards. They think that there is no God. There is God.
Nigeria is the deadliest place on earth to be a Christian today. Since 2019, tens of thousands of Christians in Nigeria have been slaughtered as part of a sustained pattern of religiously motivated violence by Islamist jihadis ignored or enabled by the Nigerian government. Extremist groups like Boko Haram are allowed to operate without any meaningful response from authorities. A courageous leader named Nnamdi Kanu was convicted in a farce show trial for speaking out about what's happening. He's currently serving a life sentence in prison, convicted on false terrorism charges. I implore my colleagues to support my bill, HRES 1321, calling on the Nigerian government to conduct another trial in accordance with its own constitution based on evidence, with access to legal counsel, medical care, and international law pertaining to humane conditions of detention, or, better yet, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu immediately and unconditionally. America gives billions to Nigeria. We will not continue to fund a Christian genocide. We have the moral obligation to stand up so our Christian brothers and sisters can worship the Lord our God in peace. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.